I'm going to be woke from now on. It's about time. Well, I'm sorry.
For so many years now, Ricky Gervais has remained outspoken and openly distasteful of the many antics of the woke culture. The stand-up comedy legend has been relentless in his defiance of the woke culture, and he has spared himself no chance at coming for the fragile and easily offended community. He doesn't seem to give any thought to what they could do to him, and neither has he shown any signs of giving up on his constant attacks on them. He doesn't care. He never has, really. Welcome once again to this channel. Please do well to like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all our videos. Let's get back into today's video.
They're just jokes. We're all going to die soon, and there's no sequel. So,
Ricky is an absolute master of his craft. No one can deny that Ricky Gervais is a hilarious comedian with no fear or favor when he dishes out his very good and quality jokes. He stays very true to the old-fashioned beliefs in free speech, and he doesn't shiver under the weight of the woke community. This, of course, is a problem for the offended and fragile media whose aim is to police every corner of our lives and tell people what they can say and hear. But it's beautiful to see how Ricky finds hilarious ways to call out the madness of woke culture. He has constantly done this on stage, on his X account, and in various interviews. He destroyed Hollywood woke culture at the 77th Annual Golden Globe Awards, where he was to anchor the ceremony. He spent most of his time on stage spilling the beans and spitting the hard truth about how rotten the industry has become, how ridden it is with bigotry and bias instead of creativity.
Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello? Lucky for me, the Hollywood foreign press can barely speak English, and they've no idea what Twitter is. So I got offered this gig by fax. So let's go out with a bang. Let's have a laugh at your expense, shall we?
Race and inclusion have long taken the place of creativity in Hollywood, and everyone is hounded to obey this. Gervais has attacked several of the woke madness, especially the issue of social media cancellation and censorship, how it's possible for someone to be called out and canceled over a tweet he made online, all because it's not tailored enough to cater to the feelings of the fragile community of the woke media. Just recently, the publishers of Roald Dahl's classic children's novels announced that they will be changing some words in the book in order to make it more inclusive and less offensive to certain categories of people. Words like fat would be replaced with enormous, and oompa loompa would be changed to the gender-neutral small people. This is despicable and hilarious at the same time. But of course, what would you expect from an era that has relegated women to birthing persons? A world confused on what a woman is. They can't tell the difference between an adult female human and a grown man who is suffering from the delusion of being a woman. Gervais came for this madness with brutal force, targeting the fragile and easily offended people who require even the words they read to be censored so as not to get them upset. A lot of people criticize the decision to amend the children's book because it's clear that the precedent is being set where this woke culture will gain a sense of control over everything, and whatever they deem offensive is subject to change, and this should not be so. Gervais also continued and mentioned that he wonders whether they will change any of the words used in his work to spare those who are easily offended and fragile from having to deal with it. This is a problem with the woke culture. Everyone is expected to be fragile, lily-livered, upset, and offended by everything. Even comedy and fictional writing are today under their watch for control and change. It's just despicable. The power that woke culture seems to have is to influence others from seeing the truth, and even if they do see it, they are silenced from saying it. Kevin Hart was made to step down from hosting the Oscars because he was hounded by the woke army and their media machinery for a joke he made on Twitter many years ago. This sort of dictatorial actions and control displayed by the woke culture is toxic and highly divisive for this nation. It's an attack on freedom of speech and expression, and we are glad to have extremely brave and bold personalities like Ricky Gervais speaking up against the madness of today. Gervais
was mostly white people, and I thought, nah, not on my watch. So maybe next year. Let's see what happens.
has not spared the trans community from his hilarious jabs. He doesn't fear the fact that the trans community is an untouchable and sacred cow in the eyes of some people. The madness of men being allowed to use women's bathrooms has not sat well with the comedy legend. How funny that women who should be protected from dysfunctional men are now left at the mercy of these same men. You are now a bigot to believe it's wrong for a man to compete with women in women's sports regardless of his physical advantages. How far has society fallen if we can't agree on what is right and what is sane? It's quite sad to see the cowardice in a lot of celebrities who would turn a blind eye to this madness in order to remain in the good books of the woke community. It's sad to see that a lot of personalities in government are pushing for this madness that is clearly endangering the lives of kids. Children are being exposed to harmful information and indoctrinated to believe lies. How can a parent be convinced that a kid not up to 10 years old is born into the wrong body and is now given puberty blockers to prevent them from experiencing the wrong puberty? This is satanic and harmful in every way imaginable and destructive to our children. Can you imagine the pain those that detransition go through when they realize they have been lied to all along and deceived into undergoing the so-called gender-affirming surgery that ruins their lives at best? It's funny how the media is silent about the numerous cases of detransitioners because it shows clearly the madness of woke culture. Of course, it is clear to us that the woke culture is the actual proponent of bigotry and lies. They are the bigots because they refuse to tell the truth and they refuse to be objective about issues. They don't want to hear what others have to say about issues, and it's sad and scary to see this go unrestricted. Every aspect of society today is subject to their control. The government of today seems to do its bidding, even though the democratic rights of others are trampled upon. The media machinery, too, seems to largely be under their control, and it's used against anyone who dares to have a different opinion than that being peddled by the woke media. The education system has been corrupted, especially the colleges, which have become more like labs for breeding youths with clouded judgment and cult-like beliefs in this madness. Even the high schools and middle schools all around the nation are not spared from their control and influence. Books and novels are now doctored to pass across certain ideologies regardless of their scientific and moral credibility. Hollywood and the comedy industry are under serious attack, and the use of censorship and cancellation has proven to be a powerful weapon used by the woke culture to exert their will. We can only be glad people like Ricky Gervais are speaking up. Many popular people have cowered in fear over what their opinions could lead to, but I believe we have reached the point where everyone should take the risk and be willing to risk it all to say the truth and save our country and future generations. If you've not subscribed at this point, please do so. You don't miss out on any of our future videos. Comedy has always been a tool to speak the truth without fear or favor, and the media's effort to censor this medium of expression is a clear indication of the attacks and limitations on the people's right to freedom of speech. They may hide under the guise of fragility and not wanting to be offended, but we can clearly see what they are after. It's power and control. They want to subjugate every other person with a contrary opinion to theirs, and it's happening. That is why everyone should wake up and join voices to speak against this madness and not give in to censorship and cancellation. These are nothing but weapons and tools to control the media and make everyone their slaves. And thanks to people like Ricky Gervais who are bravely speaking up, the woke media are now on their toes because they know that not everyone is blinded by their madness and misguided sense of control. Thank you so much for sticking around. See you in the next video.